And if anyone has more confidence in elections in Russia and Middle Eastern countries not named Israel, that is a joke. That is a joke.
You know what? Then our election in America is a joke, and Maricopa is a joke.
Go ahead with Russia. Have fun voting in Russia. See how that goes.
Welcome back. That was Republican Maricopa County Supervisor Thomas Galvin unloading on a pro-Trump protester at last week's county board meeting. The board was certifying the results of an uneventful primary election, but that wasn't good enough for the protesters. Now, those protesters have used and abused the public comment period to harass board members all year long. There are concerns in Maricopa County and around the state about whether this is a preview of what could happen in the November election if that election is close. We're back with our politics panel, Republican consultant Barrett Marson, Democrat Matt Grodzki. Is this a sign of things to come?
100%. First off, we notice some of the leading Republicans who won their race haven't been complaining about any election integrity issues because they won. So if they lose come November, I suspect they'll go back to their old ways. And, you know, I think every single meeting that of the County Board of Supervisors here in Maricopa features people who are election deniers without facts. And it's a real shame because they have perverted the process here.
And you know, they have a right to speak, a public comment period, but they have abused it to the extent that the county board has had to remodel the whole room to protect themselves.
Because they represent a clear danger. These aren't just people who you know, want to get something off their chest. They advocate oftentimes for violence. And so it's important that these new security measures are there, because who knows who's going to show up to these meetings. And we've seen, obviously, people get convicted of making threats.
A danger?
Oh, it's a huge danger. And these guys take their messaging cues from the top, and you can already see Trump pivoting with the big lie 2.0, you know, which he tends to do when he thinks that he's losing. So I think this is just going to ramp up, unfortunately. We all remember what happened in 2020 with those crowds there. So I think the security measures are unfortunately necessary, and you got to take them seriously.
Let's end with what's on your ballot in the fall. By the end of this week, the Arizona Supreme Court is expected to have ruled on all the outstanding legal challenges to initiatives. The Reproductive Rights Initiative still doesn't have the final go-ahead to be on the ballot. The Make Elections Fair Initiative, open primaries, that's also up for grabs. This past week, HCR 2060, the so-called SB 1070 Part 2, got cleared for the ballot. What are you watching on the ballot? And in the end, with all these initiatives likely to be on there, what's going to pass?
Well, I think it's going to be a very long ballot, which you know, was a deliberate move by Republicans, if we remember back to session. But I think abortion gets through in a landslide. I think that's going to galvanize voters across the spectrum to come out and support it. HCR 2060, I think there's going to be some energy for that on the Republican side. I'm very interested in the Make Elections Fair Again initiative, because that has the potential to completely change the way our primary system works and puts an exclamation point on voters not wanting extremism in their politics.
Yeah, but you know, and I'll say that every good government reform of the last couple decades, clean elections, the Independent Redistricting Commission, term limits, really hasn't worked out the way those backers, you know, told voters they would. So I'm watching that. But the biggest, you know, the elephant here is the abortion initiative. That's a $50 to $100 million campaign by the pro side. And, you know, I think Hank talked a little bit about that $13 million that's sitting there. Part of that money, I think, is going to get spent on the abortion initiative. But the backers say they're going to spend 8 figures pretty easy. So I think you're going to see Senate-like campaign funds on that initiative. And so that's going to, you know, if that brings out the kids, those 18 to 24-year-olds. The Utes. If that brings them out and they stay for Harris and Gallego, that it's going to be a good year. And also whether the voters who support that, well, whether they'll hold it against Republican candidates who maybe don't support it.
That's the question.
That's a big question as well.
And got to end it there. Barrett Marson, Matt Grodzki, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.